10 months ago, the nation's attention focused on Chattanooga and the fatal shooting of 5 men at the Marine and Naval Training Center on Amnicola Highway. A homegrown terrorist first sprayed gunfire into a recruiting center on Lee Highway before dying in a hail of police bullets. Now, some details are just now becoming public, including the actions of Hamilton County EMS teams. That's where we find our First Responders of the Month honoree for May. News 12's Bill Mitchell has our story.
No one can stop cowardly attacks like the one on Chattanooga-based service members last July, but constant training for such events can minimize the damage. Hamilton County EMS Captain John Miller used that training to good advantage. He was one of the first on the scene at the training center.
The first ambulance on the scene, the first district lieutenant pulled up right as the final shots were fired.
John took control immediately of the situation, started getting more ambulances in, setting up control, and got things rolling in the right direction.
They told us to stage until we had found out there was an officer injured, and then we went on in. We could see him from where we were at. They had brought that officer up to Amnicola Highway, so we all kind of converged on that area and took care of him. And then they brought the sailor out shortly after that.
The police officer was Dennis Pettigo, who recently returned to work after rehab. Unfortunately, Navy Petty Officer Randall Smith later died from his wounds.
The team members are the ones that deserve the credit. They're the ones that had the hands-on patient care. They took care of the police officer, they took care of the sailor we transported. Those guys are the ones that actually done all the paramedicine that day.
EMS members did their part as heroic police and sheriff's deputies placed their lives on the line on July 16th of 2015, and it was a team effort directed by Captain John Miller that cared for the wounded and for those who were shaken up by the tragedy that day.
When something like that happens, really kind of instinct kind of kicks in. You just kind of do what you've been trained to do.
And John Miller did his job well. He's our First Responder of the Month. In Chattanooga, Bill Mitchell, News 12 Now.
John Miller was named Paramedic of the Year by the Southeastern EMS Directors Association as well. Now, if you'd like to nominate a law enforcement officer, firefighter, or paramedic for our First Responder of the Month recognition, let us hear from you at WDEF.com.
Well, Donald